Okay, well, welcome to the Board of Raleigh County Commissioners, July 24th meeting. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have public comment? See, one person.
Good morning, commissioners and staff. My name is Gary Oles. I live at 3308 Frontier Circle here in Manhattan. I'm a familiar face. Fortunately, I'm probably one of the few familiar faces that stands up here on a somewhat consistent basis. And I'll encourage others to come and visit publicly or personally with every commissioner. We do appreciate your service because it's not an easy job. I just want to express that appreciation, and we know it's a tough job. So I have a couple of questions for you. With the Raleigh County Fair coming, if you were asked, I make the assumption you're going to be at the fair, walking around or whatever. If you were asked by a citizen, hey, what's the role of county government? Could you articulate that fairly clearly? Does Raleigh County have a mission statement that you could kind of focus on with regards to the purpose? But more importantly, as part of your answer, can you explain what Raleigh County isn't responsible for, or maybe shouldn't be responsible for? And I know that's a hard one because my life experience, and perhaps yours is the same, is that everybody wants something from county government, city government, federal government, state government. It just seems to be the nature of our humanity that we want something. I may be an anomaly. I really don't want anything other than the basics of safety, which is a good thing. County roads, bridges, the things that I guess I would call the core. I must confess, I've never read the charter, if one exists for every county in Kansas in terms of why counties exist. I know that counties exist as a subdivision, for lack of a better word, of the state of Kansas. And unfortunately, oftentimes your hands are tied with regard to that. But I just want to plant that seed that if that happens to you, and I may be the one that asks you with other people standing around, so I'm prepping you ahead of time. But I want to talk also briefly about efficiencies. If by chance, at some point you retire as a commissioner and you've served your term or you're not reelected, would you be able to explain to your friends, family, maybe children or grandchildren, what were the things that you accomplished as a commissioner? The positive I meant, just to be specific. What are the things that you could say, hey, you know, while I had an opportunity to serve the people, we were able to do X, Y, and Z? Because those are the things that are important to people. Hopefully, your response will be, we were able to expand government and provide more services and tax more dollars. You know, that's probably not the best thing to say. Well, maybe for some people it is. But I just want to plant that seed also. Where are the efficiencies in government? Where's the motivation for government to be efficient? You're the leaders, you're the elected officials, you are representing the people. And I know that people want things, but one of the things that people always want is efficiencies. They don't want waste. So what have you been able to do to help reduce the waste? We know that budgets are always going to increase. That's a given. It's just a question of by how much and how can you control it. And if I understand correctly from the last time I was here, and I assume it's not going to change a lot, the biggest expense that you have is going to be employee expense. It's going to be human capital. And that is critical. No one can disagree with that. But the question is, or the seed that I want to plant is, how have you been able to control that expense? What's the trajectory of it since the time you took office? I suppose since the time you left office, because that's in the future, I realize that. But what have those increases been? You know, where's the mill levy been stepping up? What's been the increase in valuation in the time that you've been in office? Those are just seeds that I want to plant. And of course, the budget's not finalized yet. It's extremely close. And I know you're scheduling, or I saw it on the agenda today, the R&R hearing, or not hearing, finalization, I think the right term is. And so I look forward to seeing that, and of course, I'll be back for that. And lastly, as I was here last time, I don't know how to move forward, and I guess I would ask your help and advice if you're on board with this. But something's got to be done about the structure of RCPD. I don't know who's going to do it, but it really needs to be either a separate board or made up of elected officials only. And granted, that's my opinion, and there's lots of arguments the other way, and I respect those and would be willing to listen to them. But my recollection is there was a debate, gosh, maybe 20 plus years ago. Rich would probably remember this, or perhaps you all do, where at one time all the commissioners were on the board. And then they said, hey, no, that's not how the statute's interpreted. We should have at large or something like that. But I think you're facing the same problem the city's facing, the escalating cost of the RCPD budget. What is the right size from a budgetary standpoint? What does law enforcement cost in Riley County compared to Douglas County when you add the city and the county? What are Erie County, whatever county you want to pick? And what is it, just a blank check? Will it always be a blank check? 2 million this year, 2 million next year, 2 million following year, whatever. I know those things are on the back of your mind of all the hundreds of things you have to think about. And I guess my parting point with that is, yeah, law enforcement is really important, but affordability in the county and the community is also really important. And I've discussed this with John, where what do you do? What do you do when your base of taxable properties is shrinking? You really can't help that because the state may grant those or statutory, whatever the case may be. But and you don't want to raise the mill levy, you know, if you can all help it. We can't live off the increase in assessed or appraised values. So how is it that we can control that? And right now, as I understand it, if I have it wrong, you can correct me. You don't have a voice when it comes to the budget of RCPD. They hand you a bill and they say, pay it. Now, granted, you got a board that is made up of some elected officials. But as you know, over the past few years, it's kind of swung the other way. And this board is seeming to be trying to get on top of it or ahead of it. So hang in there. It's fair week. So you have a fence viewing and temperatures are going to be high. So perhaps they can get you those caps that go like this with an umbrella on top of it as you're standing out there in the field. Riley County, so the drone can see that.
Oh, sure. Nancy was on that over the weekend and Amazon, and it'll be here sometime today.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll go on to commission comments. Commissioner McKinley.
Okay, well, it's kind of a quiet weekend. Pickford County, other than working on this meeting, tried to get a lot of work done outside with the heat this week. A week's worth of work done over the weekend before the temperatures hit. We could go sample those this afternoon. That's all I got.
Okay, Commissioner Ford.
Wasn't overly busy this weekend for a change as well. Thursday afternoon did attend the city county meeting over at City Hall. It's good to get an update, the annual report from the Food and Farm Council. Once they had a very busy and year last year working on the things that they've been working on. It was also good to chat with the city on a couple of other issues, including recent appraisals and favorite one, property tax. Interesting discussion to say the least. Friday afternoon, had a chance to meet with Riley County Press Information Officer Vivian Leva to discuss several items and to catch up on some other press and media related items moving forward. It's good to get some insight and some ideas on a subject matter that I know can frustrate all of us at times. So just good to have some good dialogue and bounce some ideas around. There may be more comes out of that later. I don't know at this point in time, but talked for quite a long time. It's good to catch up. And the rest of the weekend, I just kind of spent trying to go over some bylaws and some policy resolutions for committee. I'm on the Veterans and Military Services Committee with NACO. Of course, they're still working through the annual conference and expose that's in Austin here over the weekend. I think it probably officially ends today, tomorrow, 1 or 2 days. And then there should be some sort of update on what they worked on between now and September, when we meet fully as a board. Most of the policy resolutions this year are dealing with the passage and the implementation of the PACT Act. So there may be some stuff that comes off of that. There may be some other different stuff. So we'll wait and see. That's about all I've got.
Got it, okay. Well, Thursday morning, I know we talked about this on Thursday, but I did attend the Good Morning Manhattan breakfast, sponsored by the Chamber. Guest speaker was Aaron Stewart, new director of Manhattan Parks and Recs. He's a native Manhattanite, graduated from K-State. He has some great credentials and was excited to come back to work in his hometown. He had a short presentation and took a lot of questions from the audience, which I thought was very informative. So that afternoon, I also attended the city-county meeting at the City Commission Chambers. Vicki James gave the annual report from the Food and Farm Council. That was good. And the appraisals and all those other things that came up. After the meeting, I went down to the church and helped serve and clean up at the community meal. First Lutheran. We were short several people, so we all did about double duty for the night. Meal was well attended by over 80 people, plus a lot of children. So it was a busy evening. Friday, I had an early morning doctor appointment and then spent time in my home office going through emails, messages, and the agenda and reports for today's meeting. Talked to a few people on the phone. Just kind of relaxed from Thursday, and then Saturday morning I did all my yard work early in the morning, got that all done, and wore me out. But anyway, but that's it for my time. So let's go on with business today.
Of employee action forms for Roger Abernathy, a volunteer firefighter in the fire department for separation from county service. Vania Espinosa as a new hire as needed intern in the health department.
Okay.
Next item is a motion to approve the technical corrections.
I did talk to Anna about this and she followed up on that. Yeah.
Make a motion then to sign and approve the tax roll correction.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to sign and approve the tax roll corrections. All in favor? Aye.
review minutes from the July 20th meeting.
I didn't have that much. Okay, then I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written from the July 20th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the July 20th minutes from the Board of County Commissioners. All in favor? Aye.
Press conference topics. And agendas.
Yeah,
Let me say most important day of the year.
Yeah, the cookie jar, right?
Oh, that should be Thursday.
Yeah.
And catch the news, they did hire or did vote on new fair loyalty. over the weekend.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Okay.
catch you one of them didn't recognize him.
Sharp, Cody Sharp and.
Yeah.
Earl. His sister, who last year before, that he's the king.
Okay.
Did we get an invite for the dinner before the? I know, like last year we had a dinner.
That was for the rodeo and they don't do that every year.
I know we went last year before.
And that might have been because of
That before.
COVID too, but I don't remember that being the first one I can remember.
Every one of the auctions.
Yeah, they had that on, yeah. Guess not. That's conference. I don't see anything that I'd like to add. Tentative agendas. There's no one added for the press conference today?
Just Lori's on there.
Lori's, you added that on the 31st.
That's all today.
Oh,
Today?
that's for today.
Oh, okay.
It's after Amanda.
Huh.
Right there at 9:30.
There we go. So the next item is at 9 o'clock, Amanda.